Soriano. But first of all, I want to give more information about our project and then about our guests. Let's Save the Earth, our eTwinning project, and it started in October 2020 and will finish at the end of this month. Our project is about climate change and global warming, you know. And there are 21 teachers and 135 students in the project. Our teachers in the project are from different countries, 10 from Turkey, 3 from Croatia, and 3 from Portugal, 2 from France, 1 from Italy, 1 from Poland, and 1 from Azerbaijan. This is a European project, so the language of the project is English. And in this project, our aim is to raise awareness in our students on the topic of the global warming, climate change, environmental education, and sustainability. And we also want them to realize the effects of climate change on the life of all living beings on Earth and its social and economic consequences and the obstacles to development it. Okay, now let's learn more about our guest. First of all, I want to give information about Agustin Bastida Rodriguez. He has been an eTwinner since 2005. He is a teacher of eTwinning online courses for the Spanish Ministry of Education since 2006 and ambassador since 2011. He has been the moderator of Sustainability Education Network Service eTwinning since 2015. He is also the director of the Environmental Learning Center for Teachers, Sociedad Escolar of Madrid, and member of the Environmental Education Program of the Autonomous Region of Madrid. He is also one of the members of the Spanish Network of Sustainable Schools, and maybe you will remember that he was one of the moderators of the learning event in eTwinning named A Proposal for a Better World, Global Change, and the Agenda 2013. Okay, let's continue with Tomas Lopez Soriano. He is the director of the Environmental Learning Center for Teachers, Via Casa de Odeon, Madrid. He is a member of the Environmental Education Program of the Autonomous Region of Madrid. He is one of the members of the Spanish Network of Sustainable Schools, and he is also the coordinator of the biggest Erasmus Plus project in Spain. Today, we are really happy to host these valuable educators. I don't want to make our guests wait any longer, and now I leave the floor. Yes, Agustin, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Burju. And all the eTwinners and participants, students as well, working on this fantastic project about climate change. For me and Mr. Lopez, it's a great pleasure to collaborate on it. I hope our speech will fulfill your expectations. It has been a big challenge to elaborate this presentation for both teachers and students. And as you will see, there will be tasks for teachers and students during our talk. This session, in this session, there will be 3 parts. The first one is an introduction, which I will do just to establish the context and the current situation of our planet. After this intro, Mr. Lopez will explain global warming, and later on, you will be invited to participate in a quiz. Then, to finish up, I will show resources and recommendations for working SDGs at school, if we have time enough. You all can ask questions on the chat, and I invite Burju to moderate the session, please. And we will answer then at the end of every part. Okay, let's get started. When we talk about reducing carbon emissions, we speak of carbon emissions, and we refer not only to those that are produced in the combustion of cars and factories, and also to those that are produced indirectly when acquiring products from distant places or from an unreasonable use of things induced by fashions to change mobiles or laptops. The United Nations is the organization which has been faced with the difficult task of reaching a global agreement on environmental issues since the Stockholm Conference in 1972, particularly those issues related to environmental degradation and transboundary pollution. Here you can see a brief summary of a timeline from Brundtland to the current SDGs. In each of these meetings, concern for the planet has been general, but the positions have not always been consistent. As you all know, the economy many times are the principal reasons to avoid to have commitments to put in practice measures to reduce the environmental impacts on the planet. But well, I would like you to see probably some relevant dates to not talk about all of them, because you can find them on the internet very easily. But for example, I would like you to pay attention on the Brundtland report, which was the Brundtland was an ex-Norwegian prime minister, and at that time in 1987, she put attention to the inequality between the North and the South countries, and she reused this sentence very well. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And that was very long time ago. Can you imagine in 1987 what is happening now at this moment? We are in an important and global crisis. Another date is the Earth Summit in Rio. And it's important because by this time, this agenda puts the focus to dedicate to put the social and the economy in the same level. Social is very important, not just the economy. To eradicate poverty, to promote the changing and change habits, questions like health and the humanity were very important in this summit. Another thing which is very important in this Earth Summit was because it was the first time many countries invite the local and the regional governments to put in practice some experiences to promote measures to look after, to care the environment, but not only the physical one, but the social, the aspect as well. And well, in Berlin in 1995, it was the first COP, the Congress of Parties, #1, and next year it will be the 26th. So from time every year there is a convention to talk about the climate change. This is why I put this date here. Kyoto and the Millennium Development Goals put the focus as well in the poverty and hunger and how to achieve universal primary education and the gender equality and to empower women and reduce the child mortality, etc., etc. Now, at this moment, we are in 2021, as you all know. But from the year 2016 to the 2030, all countries, 194 countries who signed this protocol in Paris, or this agreement in Paris, should work about to fulfill 17 SDGs, or 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And here is what I would like to show you, just for the young students, because many times we don't know what exactly is sustainable development, and the sustainable development is attached when acquired when some environmental issues are taken into account with the social and the economic as well. So this yellow triangle is when an action is considered sustainable when we have into account the environment, the social, and the economic part. Well, what happened now? At this moment, the Sustainable Development Goals are stopped because of the pandemic. It's the same everywhere, and all our personal and work projects are suddenly stopped because of the pandemic. And the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, is the head of this organization, and said that everything we do during and after this crisis must be with a strong focus on building more equal, inclusive, and sustainable economies and societies that are more resilient in the face of pandemics, climate change, and the many other global challenges we face. As you see, climate change is just in the center. Just very quickly, I would like to show you how this pandemic period is affecting all of the SDGs, all of the goals, and how we are paralyzed by this dangerous virus. Here, for example, this is the climate change one, the 13, and we can see that it's impossible, no? The climate change continues to exacerbate the frequency of natural disasters. As you all know, now we have very heavy rains, and suddenly we have a heavy drought, the hurricanes, and the floods, and these all affecting our lives in the agriculture, in our towns and villages. So climate change to work all together on adopting measures to reduce the carbon footprint is very important, because climate change is affecting all the SDGs are interconnected. And when we talk about climate change, this sudden change of weather affecting as I said, the farm, the crops, and this induced and provoking poverty and hunger in some places all over the world. Of course, these inequalities, as we'll see later on, are increasing our lives, affecting our lives with these inequalities. As William D. Nordhaus said in Stockholm in his Nobel lecture in economic science, that people must understand the gravity of global warming. This involves intensive research and resisting false and tendentious reasoning. Nations must raise the price of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions. Policies must be global and not just national or local. The best hope for effective coordination is a climate club. A climate club or just an agreement in the United Nations. And rapid technological change in the energy sector is essential. And now I would like to invite you to take part in this Padlet, mainly for teachers. Would you write the URL, the link in the chat of our session, please, just for the participant to take part? Yes, would you?
Okay.
Can you share the link of the Padlet? Because I invite you.
I know. I am sharing.
I invite you to start today writing what you are doing at the school about climate change. Here, Cecil has started, but there are some other SDGs where you can add information. Okay?
Okay, I will.
Now, what I said before, just to finish, I'm going to go very fast because Mr. Lopez is waiting to start. Our planet is in a global emergency. We have to act now, and we must act rowing in the same direction, because the planet needs all hands working. And of course, part of the solution is in education, because the education is the way we put that seed of knowledge in our students' head, just to be critical when they get information that probably is false or wrong. As I said, these global crises are these sort of economic inabilities. We cannot put our attention just in emergent countries like those in Africa or South America, but where we live here in Europe, we have poverty as well, and very near us. So from our schools, in our village, in our towns, we should develop some actions, educational actions, just to sensitize our students that this is a common problem and we can help these people. There is another aspect, which is the ever-rising overpopulation. 8 billion people at this moment, and 8 billion people that needs to have lunch every day and produce garbage. And this means that we need to create an intensive farm and agricultural land that many times is not the most sustainable things. And all the gases emissions and you can see here also the natural resources are diminuing a lot. So there are no planet B. And the pollution of lands, air and water is another disaster. Many times we don't realize that all we produce, if we don't reduce this garbage, we have a very important problem. I'm not talking just to recycling. Recycling is very important, but it's much better to reduce all the garbage or we generate daily in our daily routines. And of course, it's very important. Another global crisis is the loss of biodiversity. It's incredible how this affects reducing the forest in the Amazon, in Southeast Asia, and the African continent is leading to the loss of important carbon dioxide sinks and flora and fauna. The filters that the planet has always had to protect itself from extreme catastrophes have been lost. And now the coronavirus and other diseases are present. For example, when the permafrost disappear, there will be more other diseases. And for example, the large mammals are expected to become extinct in the next 25 years. And this is a tragedy. Climate change is accelerating the sixth massive extinction. The world's biodiversity has decreased alarmingly in half a century, and more than 25,000 species, almost a third of the known ones, are in danger of disappearing. And climate change will be responsible for 80% of them. Another important global crisis is this economic inequality, social injustice, hunger and poverty. You can see on the left chart, there is the comparison between the GDP and the economic inequality. And we can see here the European countries has the pink or reddish color dot. And you can see here, probably the more equalitarian society with an important GDP is Norway. But we all have in mind that, for example, South Africa, it's a wealthy country, but the inequality is extreme. Yeah, there are poverty, extreme poverty, and very wealthy people. And on the right chart, I would like to pay attention, this is very important as well, is the HDI, is the Human Development Index. This is a coefficient that measures the expectancy of life, the number of years in that a person has education, and as you can see here, well, Qatar, the countries at the top right are countries with more expectancy of life and a very high level of life. And you can see in yellow as well the European one, Italy, Greece, Japan. Well, Japan is not in Europe, sorry. Italy, Greece, Turkey is here. Well, if you are interested in, well, probably many of you had writing down some information, but here you can compare. I'm finishing, Tomas. Here you can, I know the students like checking and where is my country in this, I chosen Spain is in the 26th rank. And you can see the life expectancy of birth, 83, and the schooling, the mean years of schooling, 9.8, and the gross national income, 34,250. Well, and another important thing is because of these inequalities and poverty and wars and conflicts in the world, many people are moving from one place to another, from the south to the north, to the east to the west, and just looking for better conditions than where they are. And this is, I think, nobody wants to move from they are if their life are good enough. So this is another global planetary crisis, very important. And of course, what I said before, the pandemics. This current pandemic situation is expected to recur with new viruses periodically. It's not just, we had one at the Spanish flu at the beginning of the 19th century, the 20th century, but now the scientists think that we're going to have new sorts of viruses from time to time and very frequently. So this is very important. Well, in our planet, the politicians try to issue rules to provide security, and many times they fulfill their expectation, but other ones are completely chaos. And now, that's just to finish. We are another very important thing, which is what I said at the beginning, the global warming. And I would like you to pay attention. As you probably know, the frog analogy, which was issued by the Inconvenient Truth film starred by Al Gore, who was the USA vice president, it lasts just
to look at how we think about it.
1 minute. Can you see it and listen?
That transforms our relationship to the earth. If a frog jumps into a pot of boiling water, it jumps right out again because it senses the danger. But the very same frog, if it jumps into a pot of lukewarm water that is slowly brought to a boil, will just sit there. And it won't move. It'll just sit there, even as the temperature continues to go up and up. It'll stay there until it's rescued. It's important to rescue the frog. But the point is this: our collective nervous system is like that frog's nervous system. It takes a sudden jolt sometimes before we become aware of a danger. If it seems gradual, even if it really is happening quickly, we're capable of just sitting there and not responding and not reacting.
Wow. Now, Tomas, it's your turn. Education Yes We Can is for the third part.
Okay.
We have time.
I don't know if it's a good moment to do some questions or to respond some question of our participants, perhaps.
Maybe question and answer session can be at the end of the presentations.
Yep. Okay.
Better.
Okay. I'm gonna share you with my presentation. Okay. No, it's not. Sorry. And now?
Yeah.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'd like to thank Burju and Agustin for inviting me here today to share with you some easy ideas about global warming, the physical phenomenon which is underneath the climate change. Okay, let's begin with this picture of the outer space. And now this is the moon. Our satellite doesn't have atmosphere. Therefore, the temperature of the moon varies very abruptly during the day. It could be difficult to live in the moon because of that. Obviously, we can calculate an average value of its temperature, but it doesn't make as much sense as in the case of the Earth. Let's take a look to young Earth. About 2,400 million years ago, in the middle of the life of the Earth. Its atmosphere was composed of ammonia, methane, and hydrogen. Its temperature was high and only algae and cyanobacteria lived there. But Earth was fine. She was just living a stage of her own life. I like to show you why the atmosphere is important for our lives and why the so-called greenhouse effect is beneficial. Approximately 2/3 of the radiation emitted by the sun arrives on Earth in the form of high-frequency infrared radiation. The rest is reflected in the atmosphere and flies into outer space or stays in the atmosphere heating it. Hot bodies, such as the atmosphere and the Earth, also emit radiation, we can see now. This property is called emissivity. There is an emissivity of the atmosphere and an emissivity of the Earth. The emissivity of the Earth translates into low-frequency infrared radiation. This radiation is not visible. Part of this radiation escapes into outer space, and part is reflected by the atmosphere and brought back to the Earth. This phenomenon is known as greenhouse effect. This is mainly due to the presence of water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen oxide, and ozone molecules. These gases are the so-called greenhouse gases that are characterized by passing high-frequency infrared radiation and reflecting low-frequency infrared radiation. While ultraviolet radiation makes us brown, infrared radiation warms us. Therefore, the greenhouse effect produces an increase in the temperature of the Earth's surface. I like to say that greenhouse effect is good and necessary. The point is that we must control it so that its intensity is adequate for the life of human beings. Let's take a look at the evolution of the Earth's temperature in the last 12% of its life. The zero value corresponds to the temperature of the Earth before in the pre-industrial era, about 1880. The scale of the horizontal axis is different to the left, million of years, and to the right, thousands of years. In the graph, we can see the last 3 glaciations. Now, we are now in the 5th glaciation, the current ice age. The data used to make this representation obviously come from indirect measurements obtained from seabed, polar ice blocks, corals, fossils, and tree rings. Therefore, the data is affected by some uncertainty. However, from a didactic point of view, this graph serves to show that the life of our planet has changed a lot. Although from humans' point of view, we are living in a state of relative calm. What do we know about the causes of such temperature changes? Actually, we know very little. There are hypotheses that point to continental drift, meteorite impacts, variations in the composition of the atmosphere, inversion of the Earth's magnetic field, volcanic eruptions, variations in ocean currents, changes in the Earth's orbit. What we do know is that no change was due to the human being. Let's zoom in on the graph offered by paleoclimatologists to see what happens in the fifth glaciation. In fact, we can distinguish 4 glacial periods and 4 interglacial periods. Right now, we are in the last interglacial period called Holocene, so we are enjoying quite high temperatures. A deeper look at the interglacial period in which we live reveals a very pronounced stability in the Earth's temperature. Climate scientists, using more and more refined mathematical models, are trying to predict the evolution of climate using some of the most powerful computers. As a result of these simulations, scientists predict a temperature increase of 2 degrees Celsius at the end of the 21st century. This lean increase is known as the hockey stick curve. If true, humanity will be abruptly subjected to conditions to which it has never been subjected. This figure shows the correlation between the evolution of global temperature and the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Actually, a mathematical correlation is not a demonstration, but a tool that indicates that two things are very similar. We can see the evolution of the temperature and the evolution of the concentration of carbon dioxide. This correlation is so surprisingly good that the vast majority of scientists agree that the increase in the temperature of our planet is due to the vertiginous increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and human activity is responsible for it. And what is carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is a colorless gas. So what we can see in this photograph is not carbon dioxide. It doesn't smell and also is not poisonous. What we see in this picture are particles in suspension. In the case of the lower left figure, simple water vapor. Water vapor who belongs to a cooling towers in thermal or nuclear power plants. In fact, since human beings began their industrial activity at the end of the 15th century, methane and nitrous oxide have been emitted into the atmosphere. Both are also greenhouse gases. In this graph, we can see the evolution of the concentration of these gases and in the atmosphere. Only in the case of carbon dioxide exists an exact correlation with increase in the temperature of our planet. Okay, at this moment, I would like to share you a little experiment. I don't know if it's work at the end, but I would like to show you, and perhaps can you repeat it in at your schools. Okay, let's see. I think you can see now a table. It's
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see.
With vinegar. This is vinegar from a house. And this is sodium bicarbonate. also from my house. And I would like to produce here CO2, carbon dioxide. And the way is to do a mixture with vinegar and sodium bicarbonate, and that produce, let's see, CO2. Okay, let's see. I will use this plate here. A little bit vinegar and sodium bicarbonate. You can see this reaction, chemical reaction, is extreme. Huh? It's spectacular because a lot of CO2 is now produced. Okay, let's see the reaction here, and I want to show you another thing. 2 planets. I don't know. Okay. These are 2 plastic bottles, and these represent 2 planets with an atmosphere. Inside, we have some animals. I don't know if you can see an insect. Perhaps no.
No.
Perhaps no. I don't know. And there is inside a sensor of CO2 and a temperature sensor also. The same sensor can measure the particles per million of CO2 in this atmosphere and the temperature. I don't know if you can see 24.9 Celsius degrees and 464 particles per million in this planet, the planet A. And you know, the average of CO2 in the Earth is nowadays 416 particles per million. Okay. So these 2 planets are equals. So I have we have a sun. This is the sun. This infrared lamp. You see here, and I would like to connect the lamp. Right now, you can see right now. Okay. And in this planet, in the planet A, I put into a source of CO2. Okay. The experiment is started, and perhaps we can continue this presentation, and in 5 minutes, more or less, we see the evolution of both planets. Okay? So. I'm gonna say, can you see my presentation yet?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So we know what is CO2, how can produce it in our home, and we can do a little abstract to show you that some facts. Okay, facts. Global warming implies a very quick increase of the average temperature of the Earth. Climate, when we say that the climate change, as we have seen, the climate in the Earth changes every time. But the point is that the actual change in climate is an increase and very quick. and is the word which better implies, better explains this phenomenon is global warming. This warming is caused by CO2 and other greenhouse gases, which are produced by human activities. This is important. The actual global warming is due to human activities and is not due to other natural causes. This warming exposes humans to environmental conditions in which we have never been. Okay, perhaps you can see a sound. This is the CO2 sensor, which are saying us there is a lot of CO2 in planet A. We can see later. What kind of activities produce CO2? Here we see a percentage breakdown of human activities that produce carbon dioxide. According to this information extracted from the 2016 IPCC, energy production is the human activity that produces the most carbon dioxide. And by the way, in what places is carbon dioxide produced? The first map shows the tons emitted per year per inhabitant, and this one shows the emissions per square meter. We can see China is the land, el país, China produces the most amount of CO2 in the world nowadays. Okay. A very common question is whether on one single degree or 2 degrees centigrade is really so alarming. A short time ago, I came up with a fairly intuitive answer that I like to share with you. If we are very cold, or if we are in a glaciation, a 2 degree increase in temperature can be perceived as pleasant. On the other hand, if we have fever, or if we are in an interglacial period, nowadays the Earth is in an interglacial period, an increase of only 2 degrees can lead to severe consequences. To summarize, we can see on the left side the causes, greenhouse gases emissions, and on the right side, 4 of its main consequences: the increase of sea level, the increase of extreme atmospheric phenomena, alterations in ecosystems, and health problems. Yeah. Santa Claus maybe will have also some kind of problems. Some of these effects predicted by scientists can now be observed. This graph shows 9 of them and their interactions. Scientists fear the effect of positive feedback. That is, a point of no return is reached from which global warming will accelerate further. The case of permafrost can illustrate this effect. Permafrost is a frozen soil that contains methane bubbles inside. A small warming defrosts the soil and release methane, this increasing the greenhouse effect and therefore the temperature. This temperature increase causes the soil to heat up and release more methane, which increase the greenhouse effect and again the temperature of the soil. Scientists dream of 2 types of future scenarios that prevent us from entering our planet in a positive feedback loop. In the first scenario, we managed to avoid an increase greater than 1.5 Celsius degree before 2030. And in the second scenario, we temporarily exceeded the temperature and later stabilized in it. It is the so-called overshooting option. Okay, I would like to end this presentation with an optimistic message, but it's not easy. So I have chosen this motivational ending that encourage us to look for solutions. And thank you very much for your attention, and I'm sorry for my English language. I have to improve it. Okay, it's time to go to see how goes our experiment. We have in planet A, I don't know if you can see that.
Tomas, can you stop sharing your screen to see your experiments in a one? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Burjo. You can see planet A. We have 39 Celsius degree and 3,500 particles per million, and planet B, and planet B, we have 32 degrees and only 500 particles per million. Okay, can you see it right now? Okay, two planets equals, but this we have high concentration. This one with high concentration of CO2. So the only difference is the concentration of CO2. So what causes the difference of temperature is only the CO2. Do you understand me? Sorry. So the problem now, you can repeat this nice experiment, and the problem is that we don't have a planet B. We have only a planet A with a lot of CO2 inside. So we have to stop to producing CO2 and to clean the CO2 which is nowadays in the atmosphere. Both things are important today to reach this goal of minus of 2 Celsius degrees before 2050. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tomas. Very interesting.
Tomas. Yeah, your experiment is great. Thank you for sharing with us. And also, we are really happy to host you are valuable educators. Really, indeed, for your great contribution to our project, informing us about these vital issues. And we feel really lucky to host both of you in our project webinar. Thanks for your time, Agustin and Tomas. And especially
thank you, Giorgio.
Thank you very much to you all. But just to finish, Giorgio, I know that there is no time because 1 hour is a lot of time to be here, all of us together. Have other things, our duties. But just an optimistic message, as Tomas said before. In education, yes, we can. Sorry about the yes, we can.
Yeah, that's right.
I should tell you that UNESCO is the office of the United Nations specialized in education and the protection of the infants and young people. And here you can find a lot of resources divided into, can you see here, SDG resources for educators?
Oh, great.
If you click there, you can choose what's working, for example, climate action. And there are a lot of resources for different educational levels, early childhood care, primary, secondary. So please, I invite you to go there if you need some other ideas. And just to, this is probably you are doing this. We all have worked about around the key competencies, the 8 ones, but probably we need to issues from our country or local or county authority, educational authority, to promote the sustainability competence, because this is a natural process of our way of doing, of our methodology, an active methodology. Just to recognize there is a problem. Now all of you are in this process to investigate causes and consequences, and to take appropriate actions, to be actors, to be active members of these transitions for a better world. Many times we made a mistake about ecological footprints and carbon footprint, and it's not the same. It is related, but it's not the same. Here I invite you.
The Simple Show explains the carbon footprint. This is you. You've probably been hearing a lot about climate change and how you should reduce your carbon footprint. But what is that exactly? Just like an actual footprint, it's a mark you leave upon the environment. No, not with your shoes, but with every action that releases carbons. Those are the harmful gases, such as CO2, which are pumped out by burning fossil fuels like oil or gas. The more fuel you use, the bigger your footprint will be. You may think that by driving your car, the only carbons you release come from the engine, but no. Consider the carbons that are emitted just to get fuel into the tank. From the energy needed to extract the oil from underground, the pollution caused by transportation and refinement, to the final delivery to your local petrol station. Not to mention the CO2 released by manufacturing your car in the first place. More than you thought, huh? So unless you live in a cave, you and everything you own has its own carbon footprint. Read a book, printing and distributing. It uses energy. Brush your teeth, and your utensils will have a history in a factory. Even something as basic as an apple could have traveled hundreds or even thousands of polluting miles to end up in your local supermarket. You see, it's pretty much impossible to leave no carbon footprint behind, but that's no reason to stop trying. Think about your actions and choices, and you'll be able to reduce your personal mark after all. That's how you really put the boot into climate change.
Well, this is what carbon footprint. So that is, I think, a change of habits. Instead of using multinational supermarkets, to just using your local shop, is a way of probably going back to what our parents or grandparents used to do long time ago in a very common sense way. So here, yes, it's very fast. I'm going through it very fast. Here there are some, all the SDGs. As you can see, we are talking about end of poverty and hunger. How can we work this at school? Well, we can, as you all know, work with food banks our school books and materials bank. Instead of buying new ones, we can pass our books and school materials to our friends or in a bank at school, using local farms and reducing litter, avoiding to throw food, to use the solidary markets, the kitchen garden at school, and instead of recycling, which is good, but is not good enough, uh, to think about how to reduce this product, this garbage, and to use another. So there are some other ideas to work from school, for example, to ensure healthy or to provide some equalitarian way of doing related with gender. Well, this is, I invite you to work when you finish this climate change project, to work on the SDGs, because I think is are very important. So we can see if some of you have, yes, there are some ideas, new ideas in the Padlet. And Derbijan, Yilmaz said, let's save the earth. Everyone has a lot to do for our well. We collect the waste on the beaches with our students at regular intervals. So fantastic. I invite you all to take part in this collaborative work. Well, thank you very much for your invitation, Burju, Climate Change eTwinners project members.
Okay, Agustin, one moment.
Yes, Tomas.
Have we time to a game, to play a game?
Time.
Okay. When I was 13 or 14 years old, I would like to try and to learning things with in different ways. Hearing people, experts, or hearing presentations, doing experiments, and also playing games. When I was 13 years old, all the experiments were a failure. That is true. And perhaps 10 or 15 years later, I knew why. When I study physics, I think that I studied physics because all my experiments when I was young were a failure. I think that if my experiments were successful, I will not study physics. So I propose you to do a game to remember some of the concepts we are speaking, and also topics in relation with. Okay, I share you. It's a quiz. So a moment. You need your smartphone. You need your smartphone. Yes. And in your smartphone in Google Chrome, for example, you have to put these letters: joinmyquiz.com, and then you need a game code. So I send you the game code right now. Sorry. This is the code. 508360.
Yes, thank you, Yusuf. It's quizzes.com. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be better.
Okay, there is 4 people. There are 4 people right now.
They are coming. Yes, kids, please go to the quizzes site and enter the code and join the game. Quizzes.
Yes, please. Only, I think, only 10 questions to memorize or to think more about global warming.
Mm-hmm.
We are 12, 13.
Now let's wait for 20 seconds.
Okay, okay. In order to do this experiment with the plastic bottles, if you want to repeat it, the amount of vinegar and sodium bicarbonate and all the experiments depend on the sensors and the quantity of vinegar, sodium bicarbonate. So it's normal that you have to do some tries in order to get the right experiment for your size of bottles, type of sensors, type of infrared lamp, and so on. So don't give up, and nowadays all these things are easier because you can find people that is interested in the same topics. Perhaps not in your neighborhood, but yes, in the internet, in the global world.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers can also join to the game, please. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay, yes, teachers and kids, you can join the game. Please go to the link, quizzes, and enter the code, write your name, and join the game. Okay, I am joining. 1 minute, please.
Okay. I think you can say. We are 13 right now. We wait to 40 perhaps, and then start it. Only 7 more. Do you have friends? Call your daddy, call your daddy. The global warming is a problem of all the people in the family, in your friends. We need the help of all of you, all of them. 3 more. Thank you, Burjo. Thank you, Jaren. And thank you, Petra. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
They are coming.
Understanding global warming. Oh. What is climate? Climate is not the same thing that weather.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can see the answer, or can you see the answer? No.
I see.
Yes. Okay, this is the answer. Average atmospheric condition of a place over a long period of time, usually 30 years. Okay, next question. Okay. How can, oh. Okay, sorry, next. Global warming is accelerated by the reduction of global snow and ice fall. Time's up. And you see, yes. Next one.
Next question.
Global warming is created by natural factors. Okay. Which country emits the most greenhouse gases?
Yes.
Okay.
Leaderboard.
How many human deaths per year does the World Health Organization attribute to climate change?
Oh no.
Perhaps climate change is a silent killer.
Yeah.
Next one.
So many people died.
Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? A chemical question that if oxygen is not a greenhouse gas, and ozone also not. Okay. The greenhouse effect is beneficial as it helps to sustain life on Earth by naturally trapping heat in the atmosphere.
True. Not that.
50%, 50%.
Yes.
Okay. the intensive greenhouse effect, increase in global temperatures due to an increased atmospheric greenhouse gas.
Mm-hmm.
And only 2 more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change can lead to
Yes.
okay. Only I don't. This is the end, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See.
Okay. Thank you for playing with me. I hope you have enjoyed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Thomas. Yeah, it was wonderful. We learned a lot. Really, your presentations were great. We learned a lot. And also, your experiment and also your game that you prepared for us was really great. Thank you so much for your great contribution to our project, for informing us about this vital issue. We really feel lucky to host both of you in our project, and really thanks for your time. Really, thank you so much, Agustin and Thomas. So much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Borju. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, dear eTwinners. And good luck.
Thank you. Goodbye. See you.